So, what is quantum healing? That's probably one of the hardest questions to answer. Why? Well, because it's something to be experienced, not to be explained. It's hard to describe an experience with words and concepts of a healing modality that you don't have a reference to or reference point of understanding. It's kind of like describing heaven. We know about it, but we've never experienced it. So I'll do my best to explain quantum healing, and I'm going to give you 3 examples. So the first example is, it's like verbal acupressure. So an acupressurist, they stimulate areas in your body that correspond to organs in order to bring them back into balance. And it may be in low energy or it may be in high energy, but either way can sometimes disturb the whole system, and so you're trying to bring it back into balance. So you may be familiar with EFT or emotional freedom techniques. This tapping does the same thing. In quantum healing, I am looking for what caused that balance to be out of balance. And then I use the same technique as acupressure or tapping to bring it back into balance. So the third example that I'm going to give is, it's like a lie detector test, okay? When you take a lie detector test, what they're doing is they're hooking you up to all these gadgets to help look at what is going on in the body. So they may be looking at your heart rate, they could be looking at your respiration, they could be looking at your sweating, your breath, it could be taking your temperature. So all those things they are monitoring when they ask you certain questions that are true or false. And then they're seeing what's out of balance. So I'm doing the same thing, but what I'm doing is I'm using the muscle as a tool to measure what happens in your body when I'm asking a true or false question, and whether it's in balance or out of balance. So third, several years ago, there was a gentleman, a doctor they called Bruce Lipton, and he explained a little bit better on what I do using the word epigenetics. Now, I'll read what epigenetics is: the study of how your behaviors and environment can cause changes that affect the way your genes work and are expressed. So his example that he used is like a double helix. And that's our DNA in our body, and it usually has a covering on it, and it's kind of like you have this long sleeve shirt and it's covering up, okay? And so all of us have gene mutations in our body. Those could be MS, Parkinson's, psoriasis, autoimmunity, Alzheimer's. And so they get expressed when they have been exposed to toxins, things in our lifestyle, bites, food, emotions, the way we view the world, traumas, radiation, anesthesia, any things that are kind of a part of our world. And these things pull back that protective layering and allow those genes to be expressed. So in quantum healing, what we're doing is we're identifying what those exposures are, and then use the body's God-given detox pathways to release them from the body so that it prevents the expression of those genes. So there are 3 different ways I kind of explain things that you would know and kind of relate to and kind of understand on what quantum healing is. So when we come in contact with toxins in our everyday lives, it could be that you drive to the grocery store and they're just asphalted the parking lot. And it kind of has a little bit of stench. It could be that you just painted your kid's bedroom with a new wonderful coat of paint, but that fumes are in the air. It could be that you got bit by a pesky mosquito, or maybe a spider bite, it kind of hurts. Or it could be anything that breaks the surface of the skin. Other things that can be impacted are toxins that let's say, that come from lotions. We all kind of know that lotions have a lot of chemicals sometimes in it, and they can bother our body's hormonal system. So when you put it on your body, it impacts maybe say your thyroid or your hypothalamus. And so it impacts it. So you may know people that kind of put lotions on their skin and then they get a rash or something like that. kind of the same thing. It's just sometimes we can't see what our actual thyroid is going, I'm being impacted. So, of course, there are also ingestants. And those are things like wheat, dairy, corn, nightshades, things that cause inflammation in our body. Now, these could be caused because of the chemicals that are in the food. It could be caused because of, they may have some strong hormones. They may have spices that impact you. And so we find out what it is that, or what foods are bothering you and why they're bothering you. And they can bother you because of, bother your digestive system, your kidneys, different organs in your body. And they can make you, let's say your brain feel kind of fuzzy and you have brain fog or maybe even get a headache from them. So what I do is I find these toxins, pathogens, emotions, beliefs that are creating these gene expressions and giving you symptoms. And once we identify the cause, then you can eliminate it from your body and eliminate it from that toxic source in your life. And I help your body start its God-given ability to clear these toxins by having you tap on those acupressure points that correspond with the organs that are out of balance and causing your symptoms. So that's my attempt to describe something that really should be experienced.